Today we have Linden Crain on the podcast. He's our biggest guest so far. He's the town councilor of Amherstburg, top 1% mortgage salesman in Windsor. So first question I had for you actually, and this is kind of like the whole class was curious about this. How old
hmm
are you?
25.
25?
Yeah.
Wow. Also, second question I had for you, how did you become the town councilor of Amherstburg at 25?
Yeah, so I actually got elected at 22
Oh,
in 2022.
yeah.
I started my campaign in June. It lasted until October, so I was knocking on doors every day after my MBA program would finish. I'd be knocking on doors
Yeah.
all afternoon and really pushed social media heavy. I made sure to be involved in as many community groups that I could in Amherstburg and pushed hard. And luckily, I think with the amount of advertising that I put into my campaign, people recognized my name on the ballot, and I was lucky enough to join council this term.
Yeah, honestly, that's really spectacular because normally you look at people in the government and stuff, especially here in Canada. It's normally always people kind of in their 40s, 50s, a little older. So that day
hmm
when you were presenting in class, you were like town councilor. I was like, that's really actually surprising. So it's pretty
Yeah,
much way harder to get. Was it like how hard was it to do all that stuff?
it can be difficult for sure.
Yeah.
It's really about it comes down to knocking on doors and running a strong marketing campaign, I would say.
Did you have a
Uh,
team helping you out with that too, or was it kind of just
I
you?
I had a campaign manager that would manage the finances and
Mm,
make sure that we were sending out receipts to any donors. But the social media I was running myself. I had a few people here and
yeah.
there record footage, and then you need a team of volunteers to assist with door knocking. Most of the times I was out on my own, but a few times throughout the week I'd have a few friends and family and supporters come out and
Yeah.
knock on doors with me.
Did you have any bad reactions while door knocking?
Oh yeah. I've had some where you knock on a door and they're not wearing any clothes and they want to continue a conversation with you, or you have some that will just slam the door in your face,
Yeah,
right?
I used to
So
do door to door sales, and yeah, there's
yeah,
obviously the 1% of just weird people. So I had some questions also about the mortgage sales job. So I want
sure.
more of like the ins and out, like what are the times you kind of work through, and how like actually hard is the job? Like pretty much just more details on the job.
Sure, yeah. So as for those watching, as a mortgage broker, we're the person between the consumer, being the borrower, and the financial institution like a TD bank. So we have 120 lenders that we work with, and our job is to help get you pre-approved, maybe refinance, maybe you're coming up for renewal, and pulling out, or you're wanting to pull out some equity out of your home. We're pairing you up with the best lender and solution possible. So we're that middle person. We
Mm,
meet with the client, we intake all of their information, where they work, what they do, where they live, and then we package it up and we find them the best product. And we get paid directly from that lender. So on a day-to-day basis, I'm meeting with clients usually throughout the entire day. I have Zoom calls or phone calls booked back to back, going through client applications and letting them know what their solution is to any problem that they're facing. And it's a completely commission role. So there's no salary or hourly
mm-hmm.
wage that you're receiving. You're all out on your own. For myself, I was sourcing my business from the beginning 100% myself. I was never given any leads. And it was all based on referrals from
Mm-hmm.
friends, family, and other people in the industry.
So there's no like actual specific times where you work. It's kind of like whenever a client calls, you got to pick up and get to it. Okay, so that's
Yeah,
also
yeah, it's
this
not your
is
traditional 9 to 5.
yeah, yeah. Honestly, I like it because it kind of gives you more freedom. You control your own thing. You don't actually have to come at a set time.
Yeah.
Another question. This question's pretty funny. I don't know if you're gonna answer this or not. This is also a question from the class. How much do you make per year?
Yeah, so it in the mortgage. I'm not going to answer the question directly. In the mortgage business, there I know people that are making 40 or 50 grand a year,
Yeah.
and then I've talked with some of the top brokers in the country, and they're making a few million a year, right? So it all depends on how hard you're willing to work
Yeah.
and how fast and um, large your book of business is, but it can be very, very lucrative. I in a few years you can definitely clear six figures and have a really, really good income coming in and support your family. But at the same time, you could be an agent where you may make 10 grand a year.
Hmm.
So it's all relative to how much energy you're
Yeah,
going to put
pretty
into the
much how much
job.
you put in is what you get out. So if you're not someone that's doing a lot of stuff, you're not gonna make that much money. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Gino actually broke down all your like closes and all that stuff, and he put like a rough estimation on how much you made. And obviously, that's really impressive for being 25 years old. Have you made any stupid purchases with that?
Have I made any stupid purchases? No, some would look at it as stupid, but when I first started, I was living with my parents at the
Yeah.
time, and I think that definitely gives you an advantage because your monthly expenses are low, right? You're
Mm-hmm.
living at home. A lot of the things at home are paid for. You're not having to worry about paying for your meals and your livelihood because your parents are supporting. Um, but I remember leasing or I financed a Tesla when I first
Ooh.
started to make money, and I don't think it was a dumb financial decision. The reason I decided to do that was I wanted to give myself a push. Now,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that I have a reoccurring monthly expense, it drove me to continue to pick up the phone, call people, build my book, and force me to
Mm-hmm.
look at making more money, right? And then after that, we ended up moving. I ended up moving out, rented a place, so that's another monthly expense that I had to cover. So all these things I think helped push me in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but when we're meeting with clients on the other end, one of the things we tell them not to do is to lease or finance a vehicle because that
Mm-hmm.
really can affect your budget, right?
Yeah.
Um, but knowing that myself being self-employed, typically you need about 2 years of file tax returns as a self-employed person to purchase a home. I just I needed a new car at the time and decided, hey, that was the right move, and it really pushed me to the next
Honestly,
level.
for out of all the cars you could buy, Tesla's is a really smart option because you get the refund from the government too for driving like an
Hmm.
EV car. So yeah, that's honestly pretty
Hmm.
smart.
Yeah,
Uh, Also, I had another question. Joe brought this up at the presentation, and I found
sure.
it hilarious. He said that you came at 18 years old trying to get a loan for a rental property. Break that down. What was your business plan going into that?
Yeah, so I knew in West Windsor at the time you could have purchased a property for about 80 grand,
Holy
and this
shit.
was back in 2018, and I believe I was pre-approved for about 80 grand based on my part-time income at the time, and I should have pulled the trigger on it, but it seemed while I was entering my first year of university, or I was finishing high school at the time, that it would have been a um, tough expense to fill if I didn't have tenants. So I didn't end
Yeah.
up buying a property, but I was friends with a few people that were investors and thought, hey, might as well get pre-approved, see what the process is like, and that's where I met Joe.
Mm. Yeah, it's honestly nice because when he said that, I think this was like 2 years ago. I was about
Hmm.
20 years old, and I went into the bank trying to get a loan for $50,000 for
Hmm.
Aston Martin. Because pretty much
Hmm.
my plan was, like I do the YouTube thing. I'm like buying an Aston Martin at 20, like, and they just laughed me out at the bank. They're like, "Dude, you're
Hmm.
stupid. Just get out of here." So
Hmm.
it's funny that we have that thing in common. Obviously, your plan was way smarter. It's a rental property is going to go up in value, whereas my plan was a little stupid. Um, the mortgage sales business, when you first started, was it kind of instantly like you were getting all these referrals, clients, or was it like a super long process to actually make it to where you are?
It takes about 6 months to start seeing some money come in.
Mm-hmm.
The first few months, I remember, well, I closed my first deal in my second month. But for some people, it could take as long as 6 months before they start making money. And the reason being is because that 6 month buildup, you're advertising yourself, getting the word out there, who you are, what you do, and then suddenly you start to become top of mind with people
Mm-hmm.
online or in your network. So that's what I'm constantly focused on is my online presence, my online brand, and making sure that people are aware of what I do. And by posting daily, always top of mind. When somebody thinks of Linden Crain, they either think of councilor or they think of the mortgage side.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to run a campaign for a few months to start building that traction, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it is very dry the first few
Yeah,
months.
yeah. I get it because I've seen your Instagram and all that stuff. It's super professional. The moment you see, you kind of realize what kind of person you are and all that stuff. So I see you've gotten really good with that.
Thank you.
Um, I'm trying to see what other questions I got over here. I'll be honest, this is
Yeah.
the first time I actually did like a written sheet and all that,
Okay, cool.
which is it's way more natural when you go. What
Absolutely.
advice do you have for the podcast thing? Because I'll be honest, I'm still trying to work on it and get better with this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Do you normally do questions on the side? Like, how do you do it?
Yeah, so I have a sheet that has a brief bio, and then it lists out a bunch of questions.
Yeah.
Start to follow the first few, and then I just go with the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So having a natural conversation and not making sure it's not so scripted and that you're leading into the next question based on the previous one that was answered, right? So that's how I've always had my podcast. When I first started, I would have it was all virtual, and I'd have a question pop up on the screen, and then we'd go to that, and then I'd go to the next one, right? But it wasn't a smooth transition.
Yeah.
So
I feel like it's
that's
more
how it's
natural
structured.
if you just have the conversation going on, whereas like if it's scripted, it kind of comes off as like too professional and not that natural.
Yes, yeah, it's like Larry King, who had a talk show for a number of years. I believe he went into each interview knowing nothing about his guests, and that really created an authentic
Mm-hmm.
interaction with whoever he was hosting, because he was understanding who they were at the same time that the audience was, right? So there is
Yeah.
that approach too.
Yeah, because I feel like if I didn't know who you are, the curiosity of me asking all you like your questions, what you do and stuff, there'd be more interest. Because right now
Mm-hmm.
I kind of know you. I've seen you presenting in school. Like I've seen your Instagram and all that stuff. So yeah, I
Yeah.
understand that. One of the other things that I had, Joe mentioned something that where he's trying to set people up to buy houses together and all that stuff. Do you see
Mm-hmm.
potential in that idea?
I do. I see a lot of potential in university or college students or people right out of high school that are working full time.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I say that is on a single income, you have to be making 80 to 100 grand right off the bat to afford a property worth 300 to 400,000, depending on the debt that you have coming,
Mm-hmm.
the debt that you have. So I think it's smart to team up with some friends that you've known for a while and purchase a property together, build that equity, and then down the road, when you're looking to purchase your first home on your own, sell it, refinance it, have them buy you out, and then now you have a down payment, and it was sourced from a tax-free asset, right? So
Mm-hmm.
anytime it's your principal residence and you are refinancing or you're selling, all of that money that you're making is tax-free.
Do they
So
still have that program out? Because I'll be honest, I'm interested in buying a house with like a couple
mhm,
friends. So do you guys
mhm.
still do that stuff? Like, how does it work on your guys' end?
Yeah, so it most lenders, you have a maximum of 4 borrowers on the application. So you and your 3 friends, you would everyone would submit their income documents. We get an application together, and then you would go ahead and you find a property. We submit it for an approval,
Mm-hmm.
and then with the lawyer, they'll draft up a partnership agreement that outlines each person's stake in the property. What happens, if somebody were to get a common law partner and now and they become married and now they're entitled to a portion of the property. How does that split up? So a lawyer would advise you on all of the legalities, but for our sake, it's adding everyone to the application and submitting to get financing approved.
So you guys only kind of like payment is through the lender. Like the clients don't actually have to pay you guys any money for like handling the legal work and all that stuff.
No, so they'll pay a lawyer directly.
Oh, okay.
If you have bruised credit, maybe you're self-employed, you're not showing as much income, or you need temporary financing, you'd be looking at B lending or private lending. And in that case, we, in most cases, do not get paid by those lending
Mm-hmm.
institutions, and we would charge a broker fee. So if you're going to a private lender, it's typically 3 to 4% lending and broker fee. So the lender would charge a fee, and we would charge a fee based on the loan amount that you're taking.
I was actually trying to do more research on private lending in Windsor.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how are these banks compared to like normal banks? Like, what is the difference?
Higher rates, higher penalties to break it.
Mm-hmm.
The fees are higher. They're short-term loans, so it's 6 months to a year that you're with that lender, and
Yeah.
then you would have to exit and go back to a B lender or a bank.
And a lot of the clients that you have referred to these privatized listing, have they held
Mm-hmm.
up with their loan, or have you ever had clients who like cannot afford to pay their stuff? That happens a lot.
Yes. Yep. It happens sometimes. I mean, you want to position a client so that they, can afford to pay that private loan, and if knowing that they may not be able to make the payments, probably is not the best option to put them with a private lender,
Mm-hmm.
and encourage them to do something else. But it happens, and then at that point, the lender would issue a power of sale and force the client to sell the house so that they can get their loan out.
Oh, okay. Didn't know that. Also,
Mm-hmm.
some more questions about like Amherstburg and all that. What are your plans in the coming years for Amherstburg? What are you planning on improving and stuff like that?
Yeah, so council right now, we're entering budget season. So we'll
Mm.
have the 2026 budget that will be presented to council in the next couple of weeks. And that sets out all the investments that we'll be making in 2026. So we have that coming up. There's a proposal for town hall to move into a former high school building, General
Mm.
Amherst. We're working on Bellevue, which is it used to, it's a historic building on Dalhousie Street in Amherstburg, and it used to be, I believe, a Ukrainian church. So that's going to be hopefully rehabilitated and developed. And then the Navy Yard Park, there's an extension taking place, so we're focused on building that back up. There's a
Yeah.
lot of exciting projects, and then there's the things that people um, that are, I guess are not as appealing. Fixing
Mm.
roads, fixing water and wastewater
So before this,
infrastructure.
I kind of called some of my friends from Amherstburg, and I was like, I
Yeah,
got the town councilor, any improvements, anything you want.
yeah.
The most biggest complaints I heard were the roads. Everyone
Mm-hmm.
had something to say about the roads. Apparently, like the roads are not good over there.
I would say they are. Every city,
Mm.
town you go into, there's always roads that need to be fixed.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
with Amherstburg, they're on a priority basis. So we have a roads needs study, and that study outlines which roads need to be fixed first.
Mm-hmm.
And so every year we're constantly going through that list and fixing roads, but it's not something that you can just fix all the roads all at once.
Yeah,
And
yeah. Because I'm
right,
assuming you
so
guys calculate how much traffic actually goes through that road, and then depending on that, you guys actually fix it or not.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of science behind it.
How busy, like, compared to the mortgage sales job and
Mm-hmm.
the town council job, how are you balancing all this stuff together? Because I'm assuming both probably require your time a decent amount. Like, how do you
Yeah.
find the balance?
Very organized on my calendar. My
Mm-hmm.
calendar sets my entire day, so sticking with that, I have a daily to-do list that I follow.
Mm-hmm.
It's just breaking down every part of your day in time blocks is
Mm-hmm.
how I look at it. So I think that keeps me on track. Council takes about 5 to 10 hours, maybe 15, depending on the week, and then my mortgage business is full time. So
Yeah.
it's 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 not it's not too difficult. There's obviously times where both aspects of my life are occurring at the same time, and you have
Mm-hmm.
to manage on the
I mean,
fly.
how
But
much free time do you have, like, in your normal week? Like, do you have any time where it's, like, kind of time where you can just sit,
yeah,
spend?
yeah,
Okay.
I've learned to keep my weekends free.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think at the beginning, you're working nonstop, and I've had it where my whole Saturday's booked up with appointments.
Mm-hmm.
But I've shifted recently to keep it within Monday to Friday.
Mm-hmm.
The odd time, if there's an emergency and I have to get a file done on the weekend, I will. Or if a realtor or referral partner is sending me a client, 100% I'm going to pick up the phone on the weekend.
Mm. I'm
But
assuming because, like, when you're younger, you were obviously trying to build your career and stuff, and then
mhm,
now that you're older, you kind of have stuff set up, so you're kind of taking it easy on the weekends, not trying to work and all that stuff.
Yeah, I think downtime's important. I mean, I'm still working. I'm constantly thinking about my business and
Yeah.
if the phone rings, I'm answering on the weekend, no
Hmm.
questions. Or if I get an email, I'm answering it on the weekend. But sitting down at my laptop for hours crunching numbers, I try not to do on the weekend.
Hmm.
And I don't think you have to be successful. I don't think you have to.
Yeah, you don't. I feel like your phone probably is your biggest important because you have to stay in touch with everyone and all that stuff. I feel like the
Absolutely.
computer stuff.
Yeah.
Also, a couple more questions. In the mortgage, this thing, how many times do you actually have to deal with numbers and all that stuff? Is your job just mostly on the phone speaking with clients
Every day. Every day I'm dealing with numbers.
every day?
So yeah. Yep. So
Oh,
yeah, absolutely.
so is
It's
it a
not
lot of like complicated numbers, or is it kind of like on
no.
the easier side?
No, I mean the more you do it, the easier it gets. It's not too complicated. You have to, depending on the client situation, be more creative
Mm-hmm.
than other clients, but it's learnable. I think anybody can understand the mortgage side of the business. But building the business is the tough part, right?
Yeah, I feel like most people, if they kind of do the job for 6 months, they don't get or make any money, would most likely quit. But then if you actually stick to it, that's when you can actually.
Happens all the time. Happens
Yeah,
all the time.
yeah. I
Hmm.
mean, your company, how many guys do you like hire every year? Like, do you have like a number?
So with so I'm part of a brokerage.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm part of a franchise, which is part of a brokerage. So I believe they have close to 50 agents now on the team,
Mm-hmm.
but our entire brokerage itself has about 3,000.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a network that owns a bunch of brokerages,
Mm-hmm.
Dominion Lending Centers Group. There's about 10,000 agents.
Holy.
So it's very large. We're the number one mortgage brokerage in Canada. We fund more volume than any of the big banks.
Mm-hmm.
So very busy brokerage. Personally, I have a document specialist that works with me, and then I also have an assistant that works with me. So right now it's just two people.
Okay. Yeah, that's surprising because I'm gonna kind of get Gino. He told me you make close to like $1 million a year, give or take. But he was like, that's when I was kind of curious. I was like, if you're making that much money at such a young age, I was assuming you kind of have like a massive team behind you, like helping you out and all that stuff. And it's just two people. That actually surprised me.
Yes, yeah,
Just two people is crazy.
yeah.
Do you recommend this job for students and all that stuff?
It takes a very particular person to be in sales and in the mortgage
Mm,
business. So if you're very positive, motivated, you work hard, organized, good on the phones, good people person,
mm,
not afraid of the commission aspect, it might be a good role. If you like to, what's how would I describe it? If you'd rather be behind the scenes, focused on the back end, you can definitely find a job in the mortgage business.
mm. I feel like Joe put this in a good way. Hunter and gathering kind of job. It's kind of
Mm-hmm.
you either go get what you want,
Yeah,
others you're not gonna kind of make it because there's no like
yeah.
salary and all that stuff. Is that not kind of scary in the first 6 months when you were like not getting anything? You're like, is this gonna go anywhere, or were you just confident in yourself that you were gonna find something?
I was confident in myself. There's times even now where you think you know think you're not going to make money, or you're
Mm-hmm.
like, oh my gosh, it's slowing down. Is next month going to be a bad month? There's always those highs and lows when you're in a sales job,
Yeah.
and there's going to be bad years based on the market, right? There's going
Mm-hmm.
to be years where my sales are down, right? So just having a strong mindset and working through it, I think, is important. Um, so yeah.
What is your predictions for the market? Because you know your stuff about financial stuff. You've been working in the mortgage business.
Mhm.
Do you think there's gonna be a crash happening soon?
No, I don't believe there's going to be a crash. Property values in some cases have come down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of inventory, so there's a ton of listings right now, and there's some buyers that are on the fence. They want
Mm-hmm.
to wait until maybe the Canadian dollar goes up. They want to wait until the trade issues or the
Mm-hmm.
tariffs
Also,
to a
another
halt.
with the Windsor property value, do you think this is going to go down, or do you think it's going to be something that just keeps increasing?
Well, if you look historically, like property values have always gone up, but
Mm-hmm.
there's dips in the market. No doubt there's dips in the
Because
market.
I'm
So,
from I'm from upstate New York. You can buy a house there, like a decent sized house, for like 50 to like maybe $100,000. And
mhm.
then I go to downtown Windsor, or like near Windsor area. I look at like a small house, and the thing's worth like 500,000, which it makes no
Yeah,
sense. So do you think it's gonna keep climbing? There's not gonna be any time where it actually goes down.
I think it's gone down slightly right now.
Yeah, the
So,
market is pretty good right now.
yeah, it's gone down compared to pandemic prices, but it always corrects itself. I think if you purchase a property and you're there for 3 to 5 years, you'll end up having some type of equity built up when you go to
Mm-hmm.
sell or refinance. But if you're looking to buy a property and sell it in a year from now and make 100 grand, I think those days are gone.
Mm-hmm. I feel like you guys are in the good business because your whole business model is recession proof. No matter even if there is a crash, you guys are still gonna have people refinancing, doing all that stuff. So it's kind
Mm-hmm.
of like a win-win. Thanks so much for
Awesome.
coming, man.
Thanks, Rahul. Really
Yeah,
appreciate your time, and hopefully those watching got something out of the episode. Happy to chat offline if anyone has any questions.
yeah, perfect. See you, brother.